Why, good morning, you beautiful souls. And happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. And I guess you would say happy Mother's Day to all the single dads as well, and things of that nature. Now, today is a really special day purely because I get to eat today. It's the end of my 7-day water fast, so I'm pretty stoked. Time is a little off right now, so don't mind me. Now, the most important thing about today's satsang is, again, it's the continuation of this self-realization series. And one of the most important things to recognize is when we come into this realization that we're not the mind, we're not these collection of thoughts and assumptions and beliefs that we had, you're left yearning for more. You're left yearning what's underneath this. What's the next step? And that's kind of the key, I would say, Easter egg, as the title of this is Unfolding into Oneness. And that is very much so the next step. It's this dropping away of the assumptions. It's allowing us to come right back to the heart. And ultimately, that question of who am I leads us to this dissolution of self. Because when we say, who am I? When we know and have experienced we're not the mind, that question, if you stay consistent with it, will bring you to this point of awakening on the heart. This unfoldment of that personal identification, leading you into this magical, vast space of oneness. And if you've already had some cool physical feelings of, being larger than your physical body is, or feeling intimate with the space around you that you're in, then you've already experienced the subtleties of this. And if not, we're going to dive into that this morning. So I lovingly invite you into the space of the heart, that throne of the soul, an invitation to rest, to simply be. When you hear the first 3 taps of the singing bowl, take a nice deep inhale with each sound of the bell as it rings. And as you exhale, transform it into a powerful Om. Relax the jaw, open the mouth, and allow that A note to resonate. For the U and the M will form naturally as you close your mouth. Take a deep breath. Allow the tension to release as you exhale. You rest gently within yourself, observing both the inner and the outer. It's here in the morning. We carry over this stillness, this calm, into our practice of meditation, allowing everything to be, and remaining in that position of silent awareness and knowing. When you hear this final tap of the singing bowl, shift your attention to the sound of the ring as it fades, focusing on just that quiet, that calm. It's this path, it's this process as it appears, that the unfoldment of our being arises in steps. Yet the most important recognition here is to know that the heart is the throne of the soul. This recognition of love, of effortlessness, we do it already. But as always, it is the knowledge, it is the understanding we have of this experience of ourselves that determines the depth of our exploration in it. We must allow ourselves fully to remain in that quiet, that calm, that stillness. For it's here in that realm of just effortless being that the flower of the heart unfolds. Bring yourself in that remembrance of a loving moment, of someone you love. That same excitement, that same shine of the heart is that light that will guide you home. It's through this effortlessness of being that we transform that loneliness into the oneness. Coming to recognize that behind every eyes, behind every aspect of this reality is that same primordial energy, that innate source of being. For each of us is a spark of this eternal fire. Each of us is a window of awareness, and the waters that flow through us is all one in the same ocean of love. For when we let go of the emotions, the sensations, the mind, and the attachment to such phenomena, the waters of the universe flow effortlessly into the void and gap in which those aspects of our identification and attachments held on to. Flowing like water, one could say. The depths of our beingness is one concept that transcends even the word of concepts itself. For this is more of a fundamental truth of our existence, of our beingness. That you are not just this physical body, but you are the conscious controller of it. That your essence, that sense of I am, stems from the same ground of being in which all I ams stand upon. For when we come to recognize that we are not these assumptions, these temporary happenings of the mind, the heart begins to speak up louder and louder, for it is simply heard for the first time. Yet this is why we must look at those moments of jubilation, of happiness, of effortlessness of being, for the heart speaks loudest in those moments. But when we are identified with the mind, we stay trapped up in that headspace, very rarely hearing the quiet yet gentle knowing of the heart. Take a deep breath here, filling yourself up with as much of that love and light as you can. Holding it comfortably, again, as long as you can. Allow yourself to let go of this physical dense attachment to the body. Again, take a deep breath here. And as you exhale, allow yourself to let go of the tension in the feet, the ankles, the shins, the knees, the thighs, the butt, the groin, the lower back, the stomach. Again, take a deep breath here. Continue to let go of that tension in the middle back, the upper back, the chest, the shoulders, the arms, the forearms, the hands, the neck and the head, and the jaw. It's here we must find that solace, that peace, that calm. For calm and relaxation is more of the tempo of the heart itself. When we allow ourselves to relax this physical body, we can begin to understand the subtleties. Continue to take a deep breath here. Long inhalations, pausing as long as you can before releasing the breath. Allow this pattern to be that breath in which you take currently, and until told to stop. For each time you inhale, you bring in this love and vitality. And as you hold it, that prana, that chi, flows through the body, sinking deeper and deeper into each and every cell, calming and relaxing them. And it's here as this breath cycle continues, begin to observe the space around the body, just beyond the hairs on the arms and the legs and the head. Taking deep breaths, bring your attention to that space around you. And as you continue to sense this subtle energy about within and around you, expand your focus, feeling the energy and the flow of the room. Allowing your consciousness to not focus on your own beingness or identity, but the ethereal energy that you are swimming in. Continue to take your deep breaths. But from here, imagine that you have two cones, two funnels pointing directly towards the heart in the middle of the chest and in the middle of the back. And as you breathe in through the nose, so too envision this gateway, this portal of the heart, breathing from the back and from the front of the chest. Allow the exhale to fully be released through the nose or the mouth. And continue to breathe through the heart. Each breath is like stoking a fire, warming an ember, causing that light of love to grow brighter and stronger, brighter and stronger. And allow yourself to become lost in the task of breathing slowly, calmly, sensing the energy around you, breathing through the heart. For it's here in this process of letting go and surrender that the internal phenomena drop away, and there's just that still sense of awareness. For that is this process of unfolding into the oneness, going beyond the personal identification, seemingly forgetting about who you are. But it's here in the same essence that that concept of me does not change nor go away, but again transforms into the subtleties of this very existence. The energy that underlies every sense of self. If you don't already, ensure you have a big smile on your face. For the dissolution of the self is nothing to fear. It's here you must come to recognize that every night you let go, this character you play, this assumption of your beingness. And every morning the stillness is observed. The duration in which we experience it may change, but the calm, the quiet, these are knowings tasted by all of us. The love and excitement, the vital energy rushing through us when we are in these experiences of happiness and joy are but a taste and a lesser reflection to that radiant loving light in which we are. The most important thing here is to recognize fully is that you are not the collection of thoughts. So if our sense of I am and the name, the noun in which we have been attached to drops away, what happens when you simply hold on to that thought, to that knowing of I am? As you continue to breathe through the heart, and you have that big smile on your face, do not say internally, I am, but simply shift your gaze towards your own sense of self. To that inner looker, to that eternal knower. For here's the ultimate path back to the full realization of oneness with the divine and as the divine itself. For it's simply following the road back to where your beingness came from. For the I am of you is the same I am of me. It's the same I am that everything here is. For we all stem from Source, from the Creator. And it's here you can awaken to that full potential and power of your very beingness. For you are the divine embodied. As you continue to focus on that space around the being, that is the body itself, continue to shift your focus beyond the scope of the room you're in. Allowing yourself to feel that energy, the subtle shifts. It's here we come to recognize that there is nothing to fear, that the consciousness in which we are already stems and goes far beyond this physical body. So simply continue to rest in this. Marinate in these experiences to gain that trust back in you, the truth of your being. That it is more natural and innate to be in this mode of effortless being than it is to hold on to the temporary. For you are already that in which you seek. That is the most important realization of this path we call the inner looking. is that you are already this love of the divine. The most important concept here is to let go of all such things as concepts. Know that you are the silent witness, for your experience already reveals it. For if you were the thoughts, if you were these temporary happenings, your whole existence would be gone when you have those states of effortless being. But in truth, when the mind and the emotions and sensations drop away, this is when we find ourselves feeling our purest. For it is revealing to us, you are that pure witness. Absence of identification. That radiant light and excitement and happiness. Take a deep breath here. Release the breath with a big sigh of relief. Again, take a deep breath. One more. And simply rest. When you hear the next tap of the singing bowl, again, take a nice deep inhale. And as you release that breath, once more chant that divine Om. As you proclaim to yourself that I am not the mind. I am not even this identity and name. That I am that love, that light of the Eternal One. And follow the heart to come home. Namaste. I bow to the divine within you. And thank you so much for tapping in this morning. The beautiful things here when we look at this process of unfoldment, of ascension, of letting go, of self-realization, it's to know that these things arise naturally. That we can have these experiences like this morning in this shared space, and we can fully apply that in the waking state. That sense of taking a breath, not being attached to something, letting go of the physical intimacies. Yet the most important thing to really recognize here is when we stay within the mind as our identification, as our sense of self, it's just like, the natural aspect of gravity. We just drop to the next layer of what is truth. When we no longer stay in the mind, we innately come home to the heart. It's that effect of just when you are not being elevated by this temporary, illusory, delusional concepts, it's like those threads get cut and you just, boom, you drop right in. But you have to sit with the question, well, what am I now? And that's kind of the natural process of it. It goes into a who am I? And and for most, I would say, is that their identification is trapped within their thoughts, their mind. That who am I is based upon all these temporary happenings that go on in here. So when you know you're not that, it's kind of like, well, what am I? And when you sit with that question, like, what am I? Who am I if I'm not my thoughts? You naturally come back home to the heart. But again, with everything in this, this path, we can say, it really is all about your dedication to the truth. How consistent are you going to be? How much is this question going to eat at you? The more you have it at the forefront of your mind, how you perceive not only the internal space, but the external, I will say the faster and more readily it will arise. Experientially, that's all I know. And, so for those listening, I touched briefly upon my kind of awakening of the mind in the previous Satsang. And my awakening of the heart was just a random experience after meditation. I was very, very, very intent on being like, well, what am I? Well, I know I'm not the mind. Then who am I? This beingness. What is it? What am I? And it was when I was driving and picking up my retired neighbor from an eye appointment. Literally just driving down I-5 into downtown Seattle. I was just listening to music, hanging out, still kind of keeping that kind of what am I in the forefront of the mind, because my meditation was just very so much like, well, I know I'm not the thoughts. It's quiet now. There's really not much going on up there anymore. So what is this? What is this window of awareness? And again, it's just coming back home. It's just following that sense of you, that I am, staying with that. And everything just kind of just dropped. I legit forgot my name. Forgot who, the lesser I was. And it was just full-blown oneness. And that was sober. I think that's the most important thing to let people know, is that these peeks behind the veil we get with different plant medicines or psychedelics, it's just a taste to remind us of what's real. That oneness, that eternal love, that, oh my gosh, I'm oneness, I'm one with everything. It's not as trippy like that, but it's the sense of I call it undifferentiated being. It's the sense of your sense of self goes beyond your body. It is felt as everything. Now I knew full blown that this body wasn't the car that I was driving, but I felt one with the car, one with the people driving, one with the air, the sun. And it was incredibly disorienting, but it was just that reminder for really that awakening of the gut. And we'll dive into that on Wednesday. Because the awakening of the gut, that climbing that mountain of faith and trust, you need this awakening on the heart to go through that because of what arises through that process. But it is simply letting us know, life, that is, that everything's okay. That everything is the same energy. We all stand upon this same ground of being, that is Source, the Creator. The eternal love, baby. So with that, may the fruit of knowledge offer a seed. May that seed water fasting stuff. Let's just get in the zone. May the fruit of knowledge offer a seed, and in that seed may your love, will, and intuition give life and nourishment, for a tree shall grow, and in its shade may you find peace, and offer peace to all who ask. Namaste. I bow to the divine within you. Whew! I'm so excited to eat today. About to do my first Kambo ceremony, so wish me luck. No idea what it's going to be like, but with everything going on, I just got to say, let your mom know you love them. Let all moms know you love them. We all come from women. Gotta remember that. We're all born from that divine womb. And if you're a single dad, let them know you love them. Today is just more of a day about love. That's really the main theme of this whole, dissolution of self, unfolding into oneness. It's all love, baby. It's all love, and it always has been, and it always will be. I love you so much. Peace.